Hi everyone. This vlog is basically the first time I'm talking in front of a camera to share any sort of experience. And I thought I will share my experience in this scenario so that it might actually help someone to figure things out. Um, Not the last Saturday, but the previous. I suddenly got a uh, body ache and fever within a very short period of like 30 minutes. And I was down from Saturday, probably 4 o'clock, to Monday morning with high fever. And this, I assumed it was due to a very strenuous exercise that I did at home, and I thought it's just going to be something which is regular and will pass by. But by Monday, even though my um, fever went down from, let's say, 103 to went back to normal, which is 98, 98.5. My workplace and also my family uh, forced me to basically get a PCR test done so that we know for sure it's not uh, the COVID virus. And um, on Monday at about 1 o'clock, I did not have fever. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to drive to the hospital. By this time, it was locked down, but obviously, I had my reasons to go out, and thought that I'll drive to the hospital. So I live in Dehivala. From Dehivala to Asiri Central is about 10 kilometers. It's a very short drive, especially during lockdown. It was maybe 10-15 minute drive. On the way, I had to stop once, probably in Bambalapitiya, because I was feeling really tired. I couldn't drive my vehicle. And then went to the hospital. Thank God I didn't have to stay in queues because the appointment was made under my company, so it was quite convenient. And on the way back again, I had to stop twice on the way in that particular 15 minutes because I was feeling really tired. And at this point, I thought, okay, this cannot be a normal fever, but then never know because the fever went down. And usually, for most cases, when you get COVID, you have fever for about a week or even more sometimes. Came home, I rested pretty well, and by Tuesday, I was feeling really fit, and I was thinking it's just a waste of 6,500 rupees because I'm all right now. I can, even get back to my regular things that I do during a lockdown, work from home to start working out and all that. But something said that I need to not give it too much pressure to my body because I was not feeling, I was feeling tired. But probably by about 5 o'clock Tuesday, I completely lost the smell. I did not get the smell of sanitizer, did not get the smell of perfume, to anything at all. So then again, I was like, okay, you know what? This probably has to be it because I've never lost smell in my life. But luckily, I never lost the appetite. I never lost the taste. It was just a regular loss of taste. When you usually get the fever, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad at all. So which also was contemplating in my head, thinking, oh, it's just not COVID, it's just probably a passing by flu. The symptoms basically dropped from 5 to 0 or maybe 1 because I only lost the smell sensation. And also probably I had a bit of short breath, but I thought that's due to the phlegm situation I had in my chest due to this whole scenario. So Wednesday morning I wake up to a call from my head of HR at my workplace saying that I have tested positive. From there is where I want to start telling you guys that this is where you need to be really careful. This is where you need to start being really strong, because obviously you got to tell people. Obviously you got to tell people who you've contacted with, tell people who you've been at home, and also your workplace, to your close friends. The moment you tell them, or the moment you get to know that you are positive, trust me guys, there is this fear which hits you so hard. It's unbelievable. It's a fear of your loved ones getting it from you. It's a fear of your close friends getting it from you, and from the stories that you hear, from everything what has been happening around your life, not being the person who had COVID, but as a person who heard everything about what has been happening around. And at that time, a few of my family members were also infected with this virus, and a few weren't doing too great, but as a few were recovering at home. Anyhow, I had to make the couple of calls that I had to make, and I had to make sure that everyone who was with me at home had to be rather quarantined, or get them also checked and make sure that they are okay, which really gave me a lot of pressure. So first things first, informed everybody, and then from my mom, from everyone, we probably went out to bigger set of people, and also my friends, my closest friends, got to know about it through me. Of course, I told them. And this is where the real pressure starts, when everybody panics around you and everybody tells you the little bit of stories that they know. What I really want to tell you guys is that first thing, what you need to understand is that they tell you everything that they know because they love you, with obvious reasons. They tell you each and every experience that they've heard, and maybe what they went through if they have got it, and all of that. Conversations last for like 30-40 minutes over the phone. But trust me, they're doing it with a lot of love, and for out of the expectation you will take care of yourself. But it comes to a point where it becomes freaky. It becomes I don't want to use the word annoying, but it comes to a point where you don't want to hear it anymore. Because what happened to me was I obviously wanted to hear out to my gut feeling and how I felt. But every time I make my mind, okay, this is what I'm gonna do now, this is what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stay at home, I'm gonna either go and get myself quarantined, get myself checked with this doctor or this doctor. But every time I decide, somebody calls and makes sure that, because you feel really weak at that time, physically and emotionally, and you cannot just make up your mind because of all those calls. So the first thing that I want to tell you guys is, you cannot avoid calls you get, because everyone calls to check up on you because you're being cared. But if you can stay strong and listen to only what the positives they tell you, and make sure that you decide how you feel or how you want to handle your situation is the best thing that you do. So what I did was I sat down and I thought, okay, you know what, I'm not going to answer any calls. What am I going to do? And who is the most affected out of my situation? I'm going to make sure that that person or those couple of people are going to be affected by the decision that I am going to make. So in my case, it was my mother who was really affected, and also my little daughter. She was with me up until Friday, and Saturday was the day I got fever, so I was really scared for her also. And then Friday afternoon, I dropped her to her mother's place. So I was constantly thinking about how my mother is going to feel, because she's also not a very healthy person. She has some complications, and also my little kid, how she would be affected, and thereon, is she going to carry it to her mother, to her mother's mother, so and so. So what I did was I sat down and I decided what I want to do, so that everyone around me, my loved ones, are more convenient on the decision that I made, and finally made sure that I am going to get myself admitted under healthcare, and checked into Avani Kaluthara down by Duns. So another thing that what you need to fix your mind is that it's very expensive. Things are very expensive, and you will feel like people are ripping you off, and that's exactly going to make you. That's the exact point which is going to make you weak. You gotta live first. You gotta be healthy in order to fix other things in life. There's no point of saving up, piling up money in your accounts or whatever, rather than spending on a time that you really have to heal yourself or be better so that you can take care of your loved ones. So that decision was a bit difficult for me to take, because I was thinking a few times, and lucky enough I had my company insurance, and through a few people I knew, my mother knew, I managed to get hold of Durden's hospitals, and what they recommended was 2 hotels, out of which I selected Avani. Currently I am in the hotel room spending my 8th day of being affected, 9th day being infected rather, by COVID-19, but at the hotel it's my 7th day, which I'm finishing. Another really important thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about this whole scenario is the first day I came here was the day basically I had some time for myself, and pretty much isolated. You don't see a human skin, you don't see anybody, you are alone. First couple of hours, or maybe first whole day, you feel like you're alone, and what are you going to do for the next couple of days. But that's not going to make it healthy for you. That's not going to make it easy. So the first thing what I did was I started overcoming the fact that I'm going to be lonely, and going to handle this alone, but then started enjoying the fact that okay, I have a lot of relaxed time, as long as your office doesn't bother you or they don't call you for everything, which I was lucky enough. It never happened that way. The other most important thing is what I wanted to talk to you guys is about the fact that you have to understand your body. This really helped me. What I did was I used the first day, when it was an entire day, I used the first day to get used to the system of the place that I am in, get used to the environment that I'm in, select the side of the bed, to get used to the food, what time the food is coming, and what do you have to do, what time do you have to get your meds, and then steam and all that. So you don't have much time, because you feel the infection inside your body, right? So what you need to do is you fix it according to a timetable. You necessarily don't have to write it down, but then at this time you're going to get used to it if you manage to work around into a time. And I tried and understand my body. The change is what is happening inside me, what are the consequences I have to go through if I don't do this, don't do that, and how it affects if I do this particular thing. Like for an example, I always thought that I was allergic to steaming because every time I steam in a regular time for any other sickness in my past, I used to get an allergy and I start sneezing. So I always thought steaming is not for me. But also, once I got it done, because my really good friend handed over a steamer before I left the hospital, which made life so much easier, which I can probably show you guys down this video right now, where it made life so much easier to steam. So I understood steaming is helping me to breathe and clear out the phlegm that I have in my throat, in my nose, in my chest. And I usually do not like hot water. It doesn't mean that I am a person who drinks cool water all the time, but I like my water cold, just room temperature. But drinking hot water, how it helps and all that. So I understood my body and I started answering to each and every effect that I started getting in my body because of this whole virus. And it really helped me in a way that I studied what's happening inside me and I knew how to react to things, what's happening. Just to tell you guys one simple incident. This was Thursday night or Friday, I'm not too sure. Friday night, I was sleeping and suddenly woke up at about 1 o'clock in the night, finding it really hard to breathe. And every time I fall asleep, it's like you wake up forgetting to breathe. I called the emergency number. It was engaged for a couple of minutes, unfortunately. But then I thought, okay, you know what, I need to control this by myself. Check my oxygen, it was getting a bit low. I cannot remember exactly the number, but it was lower than 95, which 95 is to be the normal. And my oxygen levels were low at that point, and I was finding it a bit hard to breathe. So what I did was I sat down. I wasn't too sure if sitting down or lying down is the right thing to do, but then they say turn to your side so that it makes your lungs easier to do what's the best for your lungs or for your breathing system. But what I did was I sat down, I rubbed my chest, and I told myself it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, and I don't have to panic, because panicking made it worse for me. As soon as I thought I felt like I wasn't breathing right, I panicked, and then that was making it worse. So little things like that, where you take control of your system, you take control of the situation, really guys, really help you to overcome that particular situation. I see a lot of people blaming the system, blaming the whole medical system, to the politicians, to the government. Well, I personally do blame everyone, because you feel like a rip-off sometimes. My ambulance, when I came to the hospital, cost me $16,000 from Dehiwala to Kaluzara, and I felt like a rip-off because none of the government ambulances were available. So I was confused as to whether to blame them or not, but then the situation was such that I couldn't make a fuss about it, because I had to leave home immediately so that everyone at home was safe. So taking control of your body, and also another important point that I wanted to talk to you guys was, when you feel lonely, when you're in a situation like this, other than taking control of your whole system and not listening to garbage what everyone has to say, just select your very close circle for those couple of days. You're talking about maximum 10 days. Select the circle that you want to talk to. It's okay to avoid calls from everyone who calls you. I know everybody calls because they care, but it's okay for you not to answer that call, but you can maybe return it once you're okay, because you need to have your mental satisfaction, your mental health super clear, and you need to think straight and not get offended by situations what they have gone through, or not to get affected by the negative things they might say unknowingly. So the two things that I really wanted to tell you guys was that you need to start understanding your body, and you need to start taking control of the whole situation, and trust me, that's the only survival. Of course, there are some medicines you need to take, the vitamin C's, the vitamin D's, some antibiotics to make it all clear. Do the steaming, have hot water, and they're very serious about having hot water because it really does have an effect. So I hope everyone keeps safe, but as I mentioned, I don't want it to happen, but this might be the new normal. I mean, getting COVID might be the new normal, and honestly, if you have control of the whole situation, if you have control of your body and knowing exactly what's happening inside you, this might not look so deadly, because as you may be aware, people who die are the people who cannot afford a lot of things, or they depend on the free system that the government offers, and because of the delay they die, or probably due to negligence. So you need to know how it's working in your body and what your body requires. Give it to your body. Do not, I mean, I was on a very strict diet and a very strict workout, and I had to let go of it. But it doesn't mean that during your quarantining period or during your sick you eat unhealthy food. So don't worry about that. I'm positive that everybody can get through this situation if you know your body, if you study well, and you realize what's happening and give your body what it needs, and also to keep your circle really small, and to be positive about it. Handle the situation. You are the only one who can handle it, not the doctors, not the nurses. They are doing a wonderful job right now. They're doing an amazing job. There are a few delays, there are a few things that you might realize that telephone calls are not being answered, they attend a little later, but please try and understand that there is only a very limited number of people who is working day and night. I've experienced it even in a luxury facility like this. They are just working 24/7 around the clock. So I wish everyone a healthy time period right now, and for everyone to be safe. It's not easy. It's not the easiest thing to get over, because you need to be mentally strong. But if you are mentally strong, if you can keep your mental health straight, and if you keep your circle small, it's just another walk through an aisle, and it'll be easy for you to recover. So God bless everybody, and keep praying for everyone, and stay safe, and keep your loved ones safe. That's the most important thing, because the moment you get to know that if you get it, you're mostly worried about your loved ones. So wish you all the luck, and thank you for everyone who has prayed for me and who has been there for me. And sorry if I have not answered any calls, but that is due to the fact that I had to keep my mental health pretty straight. Alright guys, thank you very much.